What's going on, Saber friends? How are you doing tonight? I thought we would do a different kind of Saber talk tonight where we could talk about pixel blades, how much they cost, how much does it cost to build them if you want to build it yourself, and where do you get the parts from, and where do you order the stuff from, and which things do you pick? So I want to show you all that stuff tonight, how to make an awesome pixel blade. You know, people have some videos on how to do that. I think the Custom Saber Shop has a video on how to do that. KR Sabers has a video on how to make a pixel blade. I have a video on Civilized Sabers YouTube channel on how to make a TriStar. So we're going to go over the different types of pixel blades that you could make, where to get the parts for that stuff, and maybe tally up how much that all is going to cost. So the one I'm playing with right now, although it's kind of hard to see in my video, it looks like it's maybe white, but this is actually an enhanced blue blade from the Custom Saber Shop that I put 2 strips of skinny strips inside here to make what I call a dual star, because the skinny strips are flexible, and when they're back to back like they are in this dual star, you can duel with them. Plus the fact that there's 2 strips, I call it a dual star, but more like dual, like you can duel with them. And the K star, what I call a K star, is a KR pixel stick inside a blade, like any type of color you choose, right? And a TriStar is 3 skinny strips that you can put inside a blade. You can see how to do it in my Civilized Sabers video on how to make a TriStar, but that's basically 3 strips in a triangle formation. And we're going to go over just the different options that you need to pick when you're shopping for things, when you're shopping for parts. Put that down for a second. We are going to go over to the Custom Saber Shop and start checking out the different options that we have, you know, for our blade, and we'll look at the different LED choices we have too. So let's do that. Okay, so on the left side of the screen here, I've got the Custom Saber Shop open, and actually I'm going to log into that so we can, I don't know if I'll be able to see my shipping information, but shipping is important for when we're trying to figure out what we've ordered, how much what we've ordered costs in the end. So let's see. I don't know what they're asking me there. Okay. Okay, so what I like to do first is start over here at pixel blades. And then we're going to get a couple choices of what kind of pixel blade are we looking for. So are we looking for like a 1-inch thick wall, a 1-inch thin wall? I really like the thin wall selection, so let's just check that out. That has the most options. Also, when you clicked on pixel blades, you saw that there was a link there to the video on how to actually build a pixel blade. So let's say, you know, we were going to go with a photon pixel blade. As you can see here, there's a couple parts we're going to need, like the blade tube in photon green, and also the pixel blade parabolic tip, which, as you can tell, is got this like opening to it. Now, some of the blades you might want to build don't actually have this option yet, so just keep that in mind, that you might need a drill press, or you might need some kind of drill. Maybe a hand drill can do it. If you want to insert your LEDs up into this hole like shown here, it's not available for every single blade tip, right? So keep that in mind when you are doing that stuff. Um, Jake Soft, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for being here. Yeah, Gabe made me that intro like a while back, and I don't think I ever uploaded it here to use it, so I figure start using it tonight, even though it's just me alone. Mountain Sabers, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining in. Just trying to figure out how much a pixel blade costs if you were to build it yourself. You know, what the parts kind of tally up to. So actually, I'm going to look up another site that I use. Get some of my supplies from All Electronics. Find some of the cheapest and best heat shrink that I've used. So let me just make sure I get this up on the screen too. Okay. So let's just say we're going to build a photon blade. What does that say? 550 there. So what I can do here is, well, pixels first. Let's actually choose the pixels that we're going to use. That might be the easier way to go. So we can actually do that for the KR. I think we can get it right here. Pixel blades. Let's see, where are the actual pixels? Blade supplies. Let's see, I can't see this that well on that screen. No, that's not the one I want. That's not the one I want. Let's see here. They move stuff around. They move stuff around over here. Let's find where the KR pixel blades. Is that where it is? Must be right here. Looking for the actual KR stick, which I know they have because I bought it here before. Okay, here we go. All right, how much is that? I can barely see. 85 bucks. Is that what it's? I can barely see. I'm going to start to need glasses, aren't I? Yeah, pixel blades and then scroll down. That was my mistake at first. I think they updated the site a little bit. So I think it says $84.99. So let's go over here. Let's go over here and just type in 84.99. Okay, so that's how much like our pixel stick costs. Now we don't have to multiply that by anything because the KR pixel stick is actually double-sided. So it's not like for the other ones, for the other blade types you might want to make, we're actually going to need like 2 or 3 of the meters, right? But for this, for KR, $84.99 is basically going to do it. Okay, now I'm going to go to my 1-inch selection. I think is this where I go? Okay, yeah, because I'm going to need one of these things. This is a adapter for your blade type. So the Custom Saber Shop makes this in any number of sizes because the little PCBs can actually fit in like any size blade. They're small enough to go in like a 7/8 or maybe even smaller, and they can seat inside this plastic bit. So what does it say? $4. So let's just call that along with we'll say that that's along with the PCB that we're going to need. Let's go back and see how much the PCB is. It must just be in the pixel blade section as well. Here we go. Now let's choose the one with the resistor. Is this the one with, yeah, resistor installed? Because that's a lot easier. You don't want to be messing around. Is this $6? I can't see. I think it says 508. Okay, so 508 plus $4 is what? 908. Oh, we got a little problem here. My kerning is off. See that? One second. Hold on. Let's fix this. It's a graphic problem. See, I don't know how to use Excel, so you're stuck with me with this other program. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got 908. That takes care of the PCB and the other thing, the little adapter thingy that you're going to need for the blade end. Now, you know, that doesn't come in a different color, so it's just going to be clear. Even though we might pick, you know, a certain kind of colored blade, you're just going to have to go with that clear adapter there unless you make your own. Now, they have foam here. Let's take a quick look at the foam. This is the Pixel Stick foam. I've used this. This is very good. I also find this is very close to the Makoto foam that I really like. Probably in my tallies here, I'll put in for Makoto foam. They're similarly priced, I think. It's just that the Makoto foam is going to add some shipping, but I did find in some recent builds that I kind of like the Makoto foam better for TriStars and for a lot of blades actually. This is actually good for the KR Pixel Stick though. So we're gonna go with, I think we're gonna go with this one for the KR. Let me see how much this costs. $950. The good thing about that is, you know, we're buying some tubes from the Custom Saber shop right here, meaning like long objects. So hopefully they'll stick this foam inside the blade tube for us to keep it safe on the way. You know, one time I got foam off eBay. I wasn't too happy because what they did was they like crunched up the foam in like a circle to make it easier to send me. You know, but it crimped the foam and stuff like that. So I didn't like that too much. So nice thing about a lot of times you order from Custom Saber Shop, they'll put the foam inside your blade tube for you. We're also going to be ordering some other long items like the nylon blade tube. So like the nylon diffuser. So hopefully they'll slide the nylon diffuser into its own bag or into a blade, and then put the foam also in there too to keep it safe. Because when I order the foam from Makoto, what I do is I ask Makoto to send me a blade tube as well. So I'm like ordering a blade tube and foam because I want him to put the foam inside the blade tube. I don't want any kind of thing to get messed up, especially since it's going international. What's going on, Tom? Megtooth Sith Sabers is here. What's going on, buddy? No worries. We kind of just started. Everybody check out Megtooth Sith Sabers every single Monday night. He's one of only 2 lightsaber shows that I know of that happen every single week. Him and FET263 go Monday and Tuesday. So you can watch Megtooth on Monday and FET263 on Tuesday night. I think it's like around 8 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern time. They go live on Monday and Tuesday. And that's a lot of stuff about the Profi board. If you watch FET263, which is really awesome. So if you have a Profi board and you can get a lot of these effects that that FET is making for the Profi board and his blade styles and this different battle mode type programming for the Profi, all those special effects come from the Neopixel blade. So when you put together a Neopixel blade, then you will have access to all those great Neopixel effects. So Okay, so this is what, $9.50 for that foam. We see, it just all depends. Like, do you guys need wire? It all depends what you're gonna have to add on here, depending on how equipped you are. Like the custom saber shop does sell wire. You are gonna need a certain type of wire. There's a dual 24 gauge. You could probably use that, but he probably has like 22 somewhere. I can barely read this. Let's see what this says. 24. Sold by the foot. It was a quarter a foot. So, wire's not too much. You could just add this onto your order. Maybe if we add $1 onto the order, that might be enough to make your blade. Now, I know the way the KR pixel stick comes from the custom saber shop is not the preferred way I like to make it. They do it like a wireless type of installation. I do not suggest wireless installations on Neopixel blades. I think you should use wire. Maybe give a couple extra millimeters at the bottom that's like a little slack, so that flex and different things don't lift anything off the pads. So I do suggest you buy a little wire. Maybe we'll put over here, maybe we'll put $1 here, because just to take care of wire. Resistor, that doesn't cost anything because we did that in the last, we actually got that attached to our PCB, right? Before, that was like $5 or $6, but it was attached to the PCB. So we got all that in one. Okay, so the insulation, we need to switch websites for that one. Okay, so all electronics, that's where I like to get this from. The nice thing about ordering from here is you can actually get, like, let's say if you're like me, you're going to buy a whole roll of this stuff. I buy the whole roll of like 100 feet because I'm going to make a lot of blades. But if you're just going to make one blade, the nice thing about all electronics, and I guess certain places that sell this type of stuff, is that it comes in 4-foot sections as well. And that's like perfect for blade making. So I scroll all the way down here to heat shrink tubing. And then they look like they changed their website too, I'm telling you. This was a different setup before. Okay. Heat shrink tubing. We kind of have to scroll a bit to get to where I want to go usually, because I want the clear, for this KR, I want clear 3/8 first. Let's see. Clear 3/8. Here's something. That's 3/16. That'd be good to get too if you didn't have anything. You're gonna make an order. Get some of this like 1/8 or 3/16 heat shrink for some other projects to add that onto your order, so you're not paying too much for shipping. Because that's a 1/4 inch. We don't need that. Yeah, we need that if we're gonna do a double strip, a dual star. Don't need that yet. Let's see. 1/8, no. 3/32, no. 3/64, no. Second page. Okay. Getting closer. Those are the spools I'll buy. But okay, here we go. So 1/2 inch, you will need some of that. Let's see if there's 3/8. 1 inch. Okay, 3/8 by 4. Let's get 2 of those. Added that to my cart. And that other one that I just saw, 1/2 inch. Let's get 2 of those too. 2 of these 4-foot sections. They're not that much. $2.40. We'll probably only use 1 of those, but okay, so let's just make it worth our while. So it's like $9.30. Shipping $8. It's like $20, like $17.70. Okay, hold up. This will take care of like 1 or 2 blades though. 1770. I'm a little OCD. You have to bear with me. Okay. Foam. Let's go back. Custom Saber Shop. Custom Saber Shop. Am I in the right spot? No. I'm not in the right spot. We don't need that. We're just, okay, here we go. $9.50? $9? I don't know. Okay, nylon. What do I mean by nylon? There is a nylon tube in the Custom Saber Shop. So like I'm going to go, and they make them for the different blade sizes. So, okay, I think is that it? No, that's the tube. The picture of it's kind of weird. No, that's not it. Oh, is that it? 40-inch LED blade diffuser. Okay, that's it. Right here. I think this is it. How much is that? I can't see. $3.95. Oh no, what is going on here? No, I don't want Apple TV. Get out of here. Oh, the computer, you know, wants to do updates all the time. Stop. Oh my Lord. That's annoying. Okay, so the nylon is $3.95. I don't even have Apple TV. Why are they asking me to watch that? I don't have Apple TV. Blade tube. Okay, this is the fun part. This is where the fun begins. This is where the fun begins. Let's go to our blade tube. Okay, what do we want here? What do we want here? What kind of blade do we want? Oh yeah, see, Jakesoft is making a good point. Well, you know what? I think they're changing these. I think they've, you know, I did one KR Pixel Stick a few weeks ago. That was the second generation. That they changed it. They changed the way it was made. And I don't like that they changed it, but they made it more suitable for everybody. They made it more like a standard blade where it's not staggered. So I think it all depends on which Pixel Stick. Drink them if you got them. Okay. I think it matters which generation, and I think from what I heard, the Custom Saber Shop has got a lot of Generation 1 Pixel Sticks. So I don't know that, you know, if I think we order them now, probably be getting Generation 1. I think they never should have changed in my opinion. I honestly think it was like a recoil type thing. It was like people said something, and then they changed it. But I think if you thought about it for a second, you would have realized that it was actually better. It's better to be this way, staggered with the 264, because it's almost like higher resolution. It's almost like an HD TV versus, you know, versus standard, because you get more resolution with more. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? Do I have to explain it? To go backwards, it was almost like taking one step back, I think. Yeah. The V2 of this is not going to be this way anymore, and it's not, you know, I got an advanced one like 2 weeks ago, and I made it for somebody. But I mean, as soon as I heard it, I wasn't happy, because I thought it was nice to have that jump that's ahead of what we can handle with the boards right now, for the most part. Although the CF10 and the Profi can do it, and they've made changes immediately. Frederick made changes as soon as he found out, and it was fine. But it actually gives you more stuff to play with, especially for like someone like FET263, who is going to do the blade styles for that, and other people who are able to make the blade styles, who are going to program their own blade styles. You actually have more freedom, like more creativity, if they were the way they started out to be. Staggered 264, although it was a shock to the system, believe me, it was hard to understand. Jason, what's going on, buddy? Mad Science Workshop is here. Okay, so we've got my condolences to Jason. He actually lost a good friend today. We will reschedule our broadcast for some other time. For right now, we will see, like, what do you guys think we should pick here? Like Photon, is that a good one? Photon, just to see what the cost is here. Let's see, $12 for the Photon tube. Okay, and it's going to be funny when I try to add all this stuff up. I'll be fumbling. All right, let's see. And the tip in Photon, see, the nice thing about this is we don't have to do any work. It's already parabolic. Does that say 550? I think that said 550 from before when I got up and looked. 550. Okay, so I think that's everything. I think that's everything that we needed to make the blade. The reason why I have shipping 1, 2, and 3 is because you'll see, like, if we have stuff coming from different places. But what I did with the insulation I was getting from All Electronics in this list, I just included it right there. So like the shipping for the custom saber shop, we'll have to just see what that is. Or I can just maybe, since I didn't add any of this stuff to my cart, rather than go back, you know, to order at least to my house for any of these type of things where it's like a tube, it's usually about $20, you know, for that. Like I said, the nice thing about the KR is that we can get it from the custom saber shop. And now I've gotten it both from the custom saber shop and from KR. So it just depends. If you're in the US, order it from the custom saber shop. If you are in the UK, order it direct from KR. I think the Saber Armory on online store, and that will save you shipping. But I do think that for me, you know, either way, even though I ordered them from the UK, I'm in New Jersey. But even though I ordered them from the UK before, the shipping wasn't that much different. It's like sometimes when I order stuff from the custom saber shop, it's like $28 shipping, $24, you know, for these tubes, these boxes with the tube in it, because it's long. I always ask for it not to be cut down. Like, you could ask for your blade tube to be cut down, let's say, but in the KR pixel stick, if you're not going to cut down the pixel stick, you know, you could ask the custom saber shop to cut down your blade tube for you for the certain length of the KR pixel stick. So it's like maybe 35.5 inches, whatever it is. But the blade tube will come 40 inches unless you specify a certain length, right? So I usually have them come 40 inches because I'm going to cut it down to whatever length that I'm going to build my blade for. But you do have that option through the custom saber shop to actually get it pre-cut. Now, when you get your nylon tube that I suggest putting over the foam before you insert that whole assembly into your blade, into your blade tube, for that, you know, that's going to come 40 inches, I think. I don't think they're going to cut that down for you, but that's pretty easy to cut because you don't need a special tool or anything. Like what I use to cut a blade tube is a pipe cutter. That's the way I like to do it. People have different ways that they like to do it. For the nylon tube, you could actually just use a utility knife. It doesn't require anything like you know, it's flimsy, it's thin. So you could use just a utility knife, a sharp blade will cut that. And I think if you watch my TriStar video on Civil Lightsabers, you'll see how I kind of cut it. You know, I add masking tape, I kind of cut to the line, and then I take a little bit off so that nothing out of the nylon, like no little like splinters off the nylon, are going to damage our foam on the way in. So if you want to see how to do that, at least my way, I believe that I included that in my TriStar video. Okay, let's add this stuff up before it's too late. Let's add this stuff up. Because I have a feeling that it's not going to be. I have like this guess. I haven't even added this up yet, but I have a guess it's going to be close or more than just letting the Custom Saber Shop send you their KR pixel stick pre-made, right? They have them available now. So let's see. I don't think they're going to insulate at all. I think the insulation helps stop any heat, overheating in the tube from the LEDs, you know, to the foam, because it helps protect the foam from burning. 385. That's funny. So like the way I the way I make my KR, that's kind of funny, isn't it? That the way I do it, it comes out to 163 just for the parts. And you know, the KR one is like 139. I mean, the Custom Saber Shop built one is like 139, so it's actually cheaper just to let them send you one that they make, you know. And just, you know, keep in mind, you know, we didn't even start yet. We didn't even start making the thing yet, and it's already what, 163.22. We didn't even start yet. So, you know, you're also going to need some time to do this, some equipment, right? Your soldering station, heat shrink. If you're going to do it the way I do it with that heat shrink, you're going to need some kind of heat gun. You're going to need some place to build this thing, right? So just a clean location, nice countertop, set up your soldering iron, set up your heat gun. A lot of times they're combined. You know, if you need that equipment, sometimes on you could get it for 40, 50, 60 bucks on eBay. A nice system where there's a heat gun and a soldering iron side by side there. Yeah, JB says get the 40-inch blade tube, plenty of uses for the cutoff. Tell me about it. Yeah, I got a whole drawer full of the cutoff bits. So I've got, you know, photonic bits that I've cut off, enhanced red, amber, trans white. So when I'm going to make a blade plug or something, I have that stock available. You know, you could use the last bit of your blade tube if you ordered the 40-inch to make a blade plug. With you know, you could use a SpaceWindu Civil Lightsabers blade plug chip, pixel chip, or you could use your little bit of Neopixel material if you're building it with strips and you've, let's say, cut off some of the strip. Now, if you cut off some of the KR bit, I have a video on how to cut off a KR strip. You know, how to cut that down. If you don't want like a 35.5-inch blade, you don't want a 35-inch blade, 34.5, whatever you can get it down to. You want it shorter, you could actually cut a bit off. I have a video on how to do that. I believe it's on this channel, and I'll put a link to it after the live stream is over. I'll make sure some of these links are in the description, so you'll be able to see how to, you know, chop down your KR make a blade that's a little shorter. A lot of people, you know, if you're not taller than like 6 feet tall, you know, maybe the 35-inch blade isn't the best thing. You know, also depends on the saber. So that's one of the, you know, things you have to consider, as well as the fact that with the KR pixel stick, you kind of can't duel with it, right? So you take your sort of life in your own hands, you know, if you're going to duel with it. The way I build it probably can take a little more abuse than actually soldering the strip directly to the PCB. Like I said earlier, I don't agree with that way of doing it. Obviously, if you're building your own blade, you can do whatever you want. As you could see from this list, the wire cost $1. So you're not really saving much by skipping the wire part, you know, and you can't really skip any other part as far as I'm concerned. So there's really no cutting corners when you're making a blade, especially when you're making a blade for yourself, right? Why would you want to cut a corner? Why would you want to cut any kind of corner? You want to have it rattling inside, ka-ching, 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 you know, when you're swinging it? No. You want to have it feeling like a real lightsaber blade, so don't cut any corners. Do it the best that you can. Right here, I'm showing you, you know, the materials I use. You know, you could use the same stuff if you want. And after the whole thing's through, after the whole live stream is over, I will put these links, like all electronics, the custom saber shop. I'll put them links in like the parts you'll maybe need for the blades. These links here, in case you're not familiar. Oh, this is good news. You finally cracked your 1800 pixel board driver problem. That's awesome. We got to get that thing working. Got to get that thing working. Yeah, see, JB Kuma is very tall, and even a tall person like him wants 32, and I think 32 is actually perfect too. I used to think like 34 inches was perfect for me, but as time went on, I kind of thought, you know, maybe 33, and then I started trying 32, and Michael Murphy, who's Yoda, the FX Sabers forum, he sells all his sabers, all his pixel sabers with a civilized sabers blade of 32 inches. That's what he wants. That's what he thinks the standard is. So whatever Yoda says is the standard, I also think is the standard. Mountain sabers, yes, scrap for blade plugs. Like anything extra will be blade plug stuff that you could use. Okay, so I'm going to switch my website. Let's see, to Adafruit. Now this is where I go to get my flexible Neopixel strips, and you can go any number of places. I've gotten them from Amazon before when Adafruit was out of them. I've gotten them from different sellers on eBay. You know, they've never come as robust, I guess you could say, and as the ones from Adafruit. Now, I don't know why they look the same a lot of times. A lot of times when I order them from Adafruit, the positive and negative are like flipped, and some of the things on the strip itself look different than strips from eBay, strips from Amazon. So I honestly don't know what the difference is. Like some people say, oh, they're exactly the same. Well, they're not exactly the same, because like when I look closely, they don't say the same stuff on them, and they don't even have the same orientation, but they're very similar to ones on eBay, ones on Amazon. So, you know, far cheaper on eBay and Amazon. We're just going to price them out the way I build it. That's just kind of how this video is rolling right now. So, because it's about how I put it together, and you could maybe, like I said, get cheaper versions of this, because there are similar products. And like I said, I don't know all the detailed differences, but like I said, I've noticed differences. So I'm in the product section of Adafruit, and I clicked on Neopixel. So this is just a lot of different options. Look like they've got like even the little individual Neopixels, but here we go. We're starting to see what we're looking for. Adafruit Neopixel Digital RGBW, 60 LEDs a meter. It's not what we're looking for, and also RGBW is not what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for 144. That's what you want to build your blade out of. Whenever you're buying them from eBay, whenever you're buying them from Amazon, make sure you're getting the highest density possible. And that's why KR even went to make their own thing, their own pixel stick, is because he wanted it dense. Drink them if you got them. They wanted it as dense as possible so that we get the most light as possible, right? Because this is a lightsaber. We want it bright. We want it the best that it can be. So 60 LEDs a meter is not as good as 144. And the KR increases that by a certain amount, I think, as well. And also the KR pixel stick has different LEDs than the ones I'm actually searching for right now. Oh, JB, you might find this interesting. I kind of like this product. I want to maybe try this on something. See this skinny Neopixel? Oh no, that's not it. I'm thinking of this mini. Wait, is that mini? No, mini skinny. Maybe that's what I'm talking about. But they have these like mini ones now that I almost bought for something, but then I couldn't figure out what to do with them. So I was like, well, they're kind of expensive. Didn't try it yet. Okay, so now we're getting closer. This is kind of what we're looking for, but this is on a black backing, and that's not going to help us too much. We want the white backing. I think that that's going to reflect the light a bit better. That's why when I have JB Kuma design all my Civilized Sabers products, we put it on a white PCB because I think that white I know that white reflects light better than black. Black absorbs light, white reflects, so we want to get white PCB if we can. So, we make all our products on white PCB, and we want to, I'm looking for, here we go. Is this it? Okay. Jeez, you have to scroll down a million light years to get to this, but is this it? No, because it doesn't say skinny. Okay, that's not it. Sorry, guys. Hold on. That one doesn't say skinny, right? That one didn't look like it. No. Okay, here we go. That's 60. Black? No. We want it on the white back, and we do have to scroll down like light years for this. RGBW, closer and closer. I wish they made that in skinny. I'm waiting for that to happen. Okay, here we go. Is this it? Mini? Skinny? This better be it. Okay. All right, this is it. This is it, you guys. All right. 64.95. Okay. That's kind of steep, but it's like when you put together the blade, a couple times I've actually had to take a blade apart a bunch of times. It was with the the knockoff ones, and I don't know. I'm not too happy with that stuff, so I don't like that. So I just try to do it so I don't have to do it twice. I'm really sick of doing things twice. Super sick of doing things twice. Okay. Okay, but the thing is here, you might look at that price and be like, oh, but look, it's cheaper than the KR. But no, because we have to actually multiply that times 2. Because what we need here is 2 of these things. Unfortunately, we need 2 of them. Okay. Now, if you order, if you're going to make a lot of blades, like I'm going to make a lot of blades and I order more of them, they usually give you a little bit of a discount, a few dollars off, 129.90. Oops. 129.90. Oh, what happened there? Okay, now the PCB is going to be the same, unless you're going to use, you know, something else like you could use a Civilized Sabers blade plug chip. We, you know, can support a whole blade now. That would be a little more expensive for the PCB, because right here we have with the PCB and the plastic insert included in this 908. So let's just keep it that way for now. Wires, like, yeah, like $1. The resistors included in the thing. Let me see if the insulation is the same. Yeah, 2. You're going to need to use it all though on this one. So I know we're going to need to add one too. So let's go back to all electronics. What we need at all electronics is one more. We need the 1/4. And I'll tell you why. We need the 1/4. Is that it? 1/16. No. The 1/4 clear, 1/4 inch clear, and that's because on your first strips, you're going to have 2 strips back to back. You're going to have one strip that you're going to encase in the 1/4 inch first. That's 3/8. We got that already. We do need that too, because I actually put more heat shrink tubing on my dual stars, my double strip blades, than I do my K stars, my KR pixel stick blades. The KR pixel stick, you know, it's good. It already is kind of wide, so I do not want to make it too fat and big and heavy with all that heat shrink before I put it in the blade. So I usually do, I think it's like 3 layers, but on this dual star we're going to do 4 layers, but only one of the strips is going to have 4 layers, if you take my meaning, because we're going to cover one of them in the okay, where is it? Maybe it's on page 1. We're going to cover the first one in 1/4, and we're going to back the second one right up to that, and then cover it in 3/8. So basically one strip, one side's going to have 4 layers, and one side's going to have 3 layers as you join them together. 1/4 inch, 2 3/8, and 1/2 inch as a final wrap for this. So that's 3/16. Let's just quickly find out how much the 1/4 inch. There it is. It's $1.90, so that's not bad at all. We only need one of them. Sometimes, you know, if you're gonna order stuff to make one blade and stuff is cheap like this, $1.90, get a couple extra, because I've had it happen where I've had to cut off the heat shrink off of my strip because something maybe went wrong. You know, I'll tell you why. Because when you're making the blade, and you see that the way that they send you the strip, sometimes that 144 per meter skinny strip may have like the joined section, since every pixel stick or every pixel strip comes with a joined section, because they only seem to make them in 1/2 meter, but they're selling to you in a meter. So it was like $64.99, $64.95 for a meter on that Adafruit website. When you get that meter, it has a joined section, like someone soldered 2 pieces together, and sometimes it looks really nice. It's close together. That's only sometimes though. Like other times it's far away, which is probably fine for most applications, right? But for our lightsabers, like we want the light to look like so smooth and like so perfect. So what I started doing like a year or 2 ago is like I couldn't take it anymore when I would see that like little bit in the blade sometimes. Like you could kind of follow where when you swung the blade, like where that little shadow was sometimes. So what I started doing was like actually going in there, cutting the 2 sections, removing a little sliver, and then joining them back together. But once in a while, when you do that, you may have the issue of something goes wrong, right? Something goes rainbow in that second half later because I screwed up, you know, because I did it wrong or something. So I end up having to cut the tubing off. So that's kind of why I say just like maybe order a little extra, especially if it's, you know, only $1.90. So we'll just add like $1.90 onto this. foam, will that be the same? No, see, well, at least for me, it will not be the same. Now, this is where things get a little more expensive for mine, for what I'm going to do, because I'm going to order the foam from Makoto. So that's going to be, I really like the way that these skinny strips, like 2 of them back to back, when you add this heat shrink to them, makes them like round, and then you'll have the light kind of bouncing around in that round bit, that round tube that's going to go up the blade. And what is nice about that is it more easily slides into your foam. So when you put that last layer of 1/2 inch heat shrink, and you're going to use your heat gun like along the whole blade, it's going to take some time. You could see me do it in my TriStar video. It takes some time, set up your iPad or something and watch TV or something, while you do it. But that last strip, that last 1/2 inch, try to make sure that you get that on there in a whole section. And I explain this in my TriStar videos, because like you don't want any seams. Like you don't want the light to be like bouncing around and hit seams. So like that's why everything we buy is in a tube. The foam is a closed cell tube, right? The nylon is a closed cell tube. Like we never want to come in and join something that's like a wrap. I've done it once because I had LEDs one time that were so fat and so big because I was building a string blade. This is the years before Neopixel came out. There's a string blade I had that was 12 millimeter LEDs. They were like the fattest LEDs you ever saw. And the only way I could cover them with any kind of diffusion and still fit them in a 1-inch blade was to get like a cell or a foam, that was like a sheet. And then I could like try to make the seam disappear by sanding the blade and do different things like that. But for our Neopixels, we want these closed cell things. Like we want closed cell foam, we want closed nylon tubing, we want the blade tube to be a tube, right? We don't want it to have a seam down the middle. Same thing for our heat shrink. Like for these early sections of the heat shrink, you can cut them and place them like this 1/4 inch when you're putting it on the first strip. Cut it a couple times to make this stuff easier to get on. But for that last layer, 1/2 inch that we already purchased for the KR, I'm just using the same numbers there. You will want to have maybe some extra on hand to cut it off if you need to off the blade and restart. That happens. And the Neopixel strips are actually pretty robust. If you're careful, you usually can actually remove a fully shrunken heat shrink off of a Neopixel blade, and you could save it if you need to. But my suggestion is, and one lesson that I learned along the way, is to test it and to test it and to test it. Don't just test it at the end. Like when you're going to build the blade, right? Don't just test it like at the very end when you've assembled everything, because then you don't know if you'll have to rip everything apart. And then these numbers, you can throw these numbers out the window because everything will be so much more expensive when you have to redo it. Okay, so the nylon is the same thing. I will put the nylon in this one as well. Blade tube, okay, we'll assume it's a photon again. I think the other ones are a little cheaper, right? Like the trans white might be like a couple dollars cheaper, but we'll just assume that it's a photon and keep it even. Now, photon blade tip, shipping for that stuff the same, right? If we're building that. Okay, so let's tally that up. That's got to be a different total here. 129.90, 908, 1960 plus 9 plus 395 plus 12 plus 550 plus 20. Yeah, so like just before we even started on there, we're at 210. 210. 210.03 even before we even started. Oh, okay. Let me see if anyone's I forgot to look and see if you guys were commenting to me. So let me look and see if anyone had a question here. Oh my God, Jason. Yeah, isn't this funny? He says, I love that you're doing this in Illustrator. This is like when you're a graphic artist, Illustrator is like my Excel. Like I don't know how to use Excel that well. Like I use it for work, but I don't like know how to set up a document exactly. I'm like dumb that way. Oh, Mountain Saber says 32 is a nice size. Megtooth, are you a tall? Oh yeah, you're a tall guy. 6'3", 34.5. Yeah, you see that? So Pixel Stick is perfect for you. Pixel Stick is perfect for Megtooth. But you'll be able to make as long of a blade as a TriStar as you want with the TriStar kit that you ordered, because I'm giving you enough material there to make like a 40-inch blade if you wanted. But you know, you could just cut that core down. Yeah, like, so some people have different methods. Megtooth seems to use like cellophane in there. I think JB Kuma also uses cellophane in the blade, so that could take the place of one of my diffusion you know, layers, and that's totally fine. I really like the way Megtooth talks about using the 7/8 foam inside his for his skinny strips, and then adding the cellophane on top of that. That sounds awesome. That's what JB does too. His blades look awesome too. Rich Sangilla says, has anyone mentioned that the blade stock at TCSS is not 1 inch? Yeah, what is going on here? Oh my God, this is making me so mad, dude. I'm angry at this right here. This is making my life, I don't want to say miserable. I was going to be dramatic and say miserable. My life isn't miserable now. But this is making it way harder. This is a problem. Like, this is a crisis. Remember what that blue guy says to Chancellor Valorum or something? This is a crisis. This is a big problem, because like even like MHS parts, this blade stock does not fit into. I'm always worried when a customer is ordering, like lately, because this is only seems to happen this year, 2020, the stock got out of control. But you know, this is an issue for me because this stuff doesn't even fit in the MHS parts. So I'm worried when I'm about to send a customer a blade. That's what worries me, because I'm like, what if they try to put this blade in their saber and it doesn't fit? You know, because the blade stock is just... And then, have you ever tried to put a Neopixel blade in a lightsaber and it doesn't really fit? So you try to pull it back out, and sometimes the internals of the blade, because, you know, you might have just been trying to test it and you didn't glue it yet. And, you know, sometimes if you're finished, you might put a little super glue or a little dot of acrylic glue at the bottom. That's actually one thing I didn't include in my list here. I was going to mention that to you guys under equipment, was that I think JB Kuma gave me this idea or this tip years ago, or what, maybe it was Tom. It was it was one of my good saber friends that told me to start. Maybe it was Harris. Harris might have told me that, to start using the acrylic for the tips, the acrylic glue, because it was perfect for the tips, and it's also good for the Neopixel blade adapter ending at the bottom. But you have to worry that when you put a blade that's too thick inside the hilt, it's going to get stuck, and then you're going to be like, you know, and sometimes you pull and the innards come out. This is a problem. So this is another reason why I started. This is like the main reason why I started sanding every blade, because I was mostly just sanding. I was just sanding like enhanced colors for for just like trying to make the blades the best they could be, right? So enhance and photon, like I learned that sanding was better. Even some one of the photon, either the photonic bladesmith or one of those guys that works with the photonic colors and stuff, said that, yeah, we found out too that when you sand the blade, it's brighter. But I ended up having to sand down blades I really didn't want to sand down because they don't fit. And I find that it's the trans white that's the biggest offender. And I don't know. They're all bigger than they should be right now, though. They all are all bigger than they should be. That's one of the things. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Rich. I don't know what we can do about it. Maybe if someone from TCSS is watching, or maybe I can call Tim about that. But I don't know. You know, I don't know if he manufactures those or if he buys those tubes and cuts them down, and I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, no wires to strain seems to have missed the point. Yeah. The rigid strip directly to the PCB. So I don't like that. I don't like that. You know, if you try to cram the KR strip directly into the foam, what I think happens is you end up like ripping inside the foam. You know, it's like, you know, you could end up building blades like that. And what happens if you need to go in there again, though? Like, that's the one thing I like when I have to ever open up a blade. Even just nothing could have went wrong. Sometimes I open up a blade that's like a personal blade because I maybe want to try like a different blade tube on it or something. It's much nicer when things can come apart easier, when like I could maybe use that foam. I've actually had to do that before, where I have to go in and take a foam out of something because I was out of foam for something else. And it's nice to have the foam in good condition when you go back in there. So it's not to rip it to shreds, because that can happen when things are loose. You know how sharp those bits are on those strips. Yeah, the Adafruit skinny strips are pricey, and like I said, I'm not 100% sure on if they're better or whatever. That's just a preference I have. I just prefer to like use that, and some people think it's like silly, but like I said, I've actually noticed like the visual differences, and then also the differences of when I don't get any failures. I really like that, so I'm just like, you know, maybe I'll stick with this, kind of stick what I like. And then I make sure kind of like, I feel confident. Like when I build a blade that way, I kind of feel confident. Yeah. See, Mountain Sabers, you're absolutely right. Like when you use the skinny strips, which, you know, for the next thing we're going to go over right here is the triple strip TriStar. And with the TriStar, what you definitely do need the skinny strip, because I don't know how you would do that any other way. And I do use that in my dual star blade as well, because it's actually really nice. Like when you have the like you know, let's say you're going to make a double strip out of the skinny strips, and it's very flexible. Like once you put them in their heat shrink, first of all, the heat shrink tubing, it's nice that you do that because it flattens the strip out. A lot of times you'll get these strips and they're kinked up, especially if you buy the cheaper ones. So if you buy the cheaper ones, the need for the heat shrink is even greater. So when you slide the heat shrink on, you do your heat shrink in between each layer. When that blade is warm, don't try to put that second layer of heat shrink that I'm telling you you're going to do go quarter, 3/8, 3/8, half. Don't do them like so fast that you're trying to push them onto a warm blade. Let that cool, that first layer. It'll be protected. When you finally get all the layers on, if you could test it in between, it'd be great. But when you finally get all the layers on, you could tell, like, you know, when you're in school and you would show someone like how a pencil was like rubber, but it really wasn't. It's just an optical effect. The Neopixel blade is actually really like that. It's like rubbery when you make a dual star. So when you see the flex that occurs on a Neopixel blade, like let's say, for instance, if you're bashing a tree with it or you're bashing another blade with it or something like that, you'll be able to get that flex when you're using two strips, because they actually can flex. They're nicely flexible. If you're using a K-Star, KR pixel stick, they don't flex. So be careful with that. Be careful if they are attached, like JB says, from the Mad Science Workshop, if they're just attached direct to the PCB. That's not cool. You know, that might be good for a show blade, like if you're going to put it on the shelf. Okay, but if you're going to swing it around, maybe like, you know, you accidentally hit something, like, oh no, like you don't want something to pop off the PCB. So use wires. If you're doing it yourself, use wires. Do it the way I do it. It's going to be a little better for you. And like Mountain Sabers says, there's more room inside that blade tube when you are using the skinny strips. So you have like that nice thicker, you know, if you don't have access to the Makoto foam, like I do, and actually, yeah, I kind of did my calculation a little bit wrong here, because Makoto foam that I used for this was actually going to cost more. This was actually going to be, because I forgot, I lost my train of thought when I was explaining that to you guys, was that the foam for Makoto from Makoto is $12, but I get it put in a blade tube and get it sent here from Taiwan. So it ends up being like $25 for one foam. Okay, so that just increased this by 16. So I was a little off on that. So when I make my blade, it's more like something like 226 to get a blade going. Let's see how much it is for the TriStar. And it's going to be real easy to figure that out because all we have to do is just add 65 bucks to this, and I am in Illustrator like a boomer. Okay, so where's my little calculator thingy? Let's do 226.03 plus 64, what I was thinking, 95 or whatever it was. You know, and I didn't even add shipping from Adafruit there. I should even add some more dollars there. And you guys are getting off easy when I'm showing you these. Oh, down here. 290. 98. Now, so that would be to do a TriStar by doubling up some of your wires like onto your PCB. So instead of using a TriStar chip, this price here, $290.98, would be if you use a PCB from the Custom Saber shop. If you ended up using a TriStar kit in place of this, let me add this up. So if you made a TriStar with the Civilized Sabers TriStar kit and Adafruit LEDs, what does that come out to be? You use about the same heat shrink. Just don't, I mean, you could see it in my TriStar video. Just don't do what you did with the dual star one by adding a 1/4 inch to the first strip. You actually don't want to do that. You want to adhere all the strips to your triangle, to your core, and then start adding your 3/8. So you actually won't need you actually need more of like what you put on the KR than what you put on the dual star. Okay, we're almost there. $395, $12 for that, and then $550 for that, and then $20 to ship all that. Holy, that can't be right. Something went wrong there. What did I miss? Maybe that's correct. No, that can't be correct. Let's see here. All right, one. Okay, I must be some kind of dolt. Or maybe I can't talk and do this at the same time. Uh, 25. Something went wrong here. Okay, so how is that right? Maybe the dual star price is wrong. Maybe I went wrong somewhere there, but I think it's close enough. And Bagtooth says test after joining. Yeah, that's for sure. That's what I do. I always connect it to the PCB, and then I clip that ugly join that they might give me, and then make a new join section. And then since I already have it attached to the PCB, everything's kind of loose. I put it on my tester. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Jim Smith is always a staunch supporter of Civilized Sabers on YouTube. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, a string blade is such a pain in the ass. Oh my god. It was a real treat, you know, when all these Neopixel things came out, because because it just made it so much easier. Like I almost couldn't believe it. It was it was such a surprise because we always joked back in the day, right? I don't know, like if any of you guys were around back in like 2010, 2011, 2012, when we would kind of joke when we would talk about string blades and hyper blades and CFLS and stuff. It's like whenever someone mentioned like having the LEDs go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like actually activate one at a time, everyone would laugh. It was like the stupidest notion you could imagine. It seemed impossible unless you, because if you knew how to make a string blade, you knew that at that way of thinking, you needed 100, you needed like 102 wires to make that happen, right? To have like each LED go on one at a time, and a different board altogether, probably a different soundboard than a regular string blade soundboard, I'll bet. And you know, with 100 connections, you know, 100 circuits. It was a dream come true when the Neopixel thing came out, and I couldn't believe it. I said, wait, you can control this one at a time? And it was true. You could control it one at a time. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So it's really, really nice that we are able, like, believe me, anyone can kind of, you know, if you have a little experience soldering, if you could see really, really well, or get the magnifier type glasses, right? They made it a little easier by putting the resistor on that PCB for you at the custom saber shop. That makes it easier, and it's reasonably priced at what, like $5 or $6 for that PCB. That's really nice. That makes it a lot easier. You don't need to solder such a small thing. And the KR, as far as easy goes, wouldn't you guys agree that the KR is probably the easiest one here to do, because you don't even have to wire both sides of the KR pixel stick. You only have to attach your wires to one side of the KR pixel stick. Yeah, Jim Smith says, imagine the way Anthony used to do it, 5mm and 3mm LED by LED. And you know what else that brings to mind? It's a lot safer now. It's a lot safer because of the solder. Like, imagine the cloud of solder that's up in the air. Like when I'm soldering 106 LEDs together, and then I didn't even really get, that's like even before you wire the blade. That's like even before you actually wire the thing to work. So yeah, it's a lot of smoke up in the air, a lot of carcinogens. This Neopixel, it comes like, you know, look how that comes. Let's go back real quick. I'll show you again that the way that those strips come from Adafruit. Where is it? Over here. I mean, it's already done for you. I used to have to do that like by hand. And the first Neopixel blade I ever made, I made 2 of them with individual Neopixel LEDs by hand, just doing the ladder with the 5mm and the 8mm. I tried both. Yeah, the ladder array. I did that, and that's a pain in the ass with Neopixels, let me tell you. Yeah, so like Meg2 says, cheap blades, you get what you pay for. I hope this video kind of showed people that you know, it's not cheap to make the blade. I honestly don't know how some of these people on Facebook and wherever can actually afford to sell blades for, like, I think one person was selling them for $60. So you have to imagine, like, what kind of corners are you cutting? Like, even if you took away the LEDs here, even if you didn't even use LEDs, if you have nothing in the blade, with all the parts that you need, the foam and the nylon and the PCB and the different things, I mean, we're almost at $60 even without the LED. So how is someone selling a blade for $60? How is someone making anything from selling a blade for $100? You know, the Custom Saber Shop sells these KR pixel sticks for full blades for $139. But keep in mind, they are like part manufacturer, right? So they are bringing in the KR pixel stick as a distributor, and they make all the other parts themselves. So obviously that's a big discount over these prices I listed here for you guys, because we're the consumer, we're just buying them from the website. But if you're Custom Saber Shop, you have a discount on all that stuff, plus you're obviously a distributor for KR and getting those pixel sticks for less than $84.99, because that's what they're selling them for, right? So that's how they can do it. But even if you wanted to build your own KR pixel stick blade and you want to do it the way I do it, it's going to cost you, look, $163. If you want to build a dual star the way I do it, it's going to cost you $225. If you want to build a tri-star, it could be $300. It could be almost $300 to build it that way. You may, you know, here's an interesting thing about the TriStar when you're buying these LEDs in the meter. Like, if you you probably will need 3 meters to make a TriStar, but if you're going to make 2 TriStars, you probably only need 5 meters, because both TriStars can share one of those meters, especially if you are reconfiguring the blade, like I was telling you how, like, I assemble that, I kind of cut at the seam and where they have soldered, and I try to make a better, cleaner solder connection than they have done at the factory. If possible, usually I can make it shorter. So that's one thing that you could try, you know, if you are building your own blade, building 2 TriStars. You can save a little bit by maybe buying 5 strips, 5 meters to do 2 TriStars. JB says, I still like my blade I made 5 years ago in the video I posted once upon a time. This is the easy way, new method with new materials. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, they got a bunch of new stuff out, and now that the Custom Saber Shop does carry all this stuff basically that you need, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Like, you don't have to do like me, where I bought the foam from Makoto. You can try some different foams. If you're building a 7/8 inch blade, you are going to need 7/8 inch foam. But like Megtooth Sith does, you can use 7/8 inch foam in other blades if you get, you know, if you have some ingenuity with some gift wrap, with some other layers of diffusion that look good, try it that way. You know, the KR specific foam that the Custom Saber Shop is selling now is very similar, I feel like, to Makoto foam. So if you wonder, like, hey, you know, Space uses Makoto foam, I wonder what that's like, get some of that KR V2 pixel foam, and it is really nice. Like, it is like Makoto foam, so you could use that on your dual star. You could maybe even use that on your tri-star. It's got a nice pocket in there. The hole is good for the tri-star assembly. Yeah, Megtooth says it's fun, but it's tedious. Because Mountain Saber says, I enjoy building my own blades. In fact, I learned from Space and Meg. That's what got me into it. Oh, awesome. That's great. That's great. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's easier than you think before you get started. And then once you get started, it's kind of like you get addicted to trying new things. You know, like when they have the like the enhanced amber, it's like, I want to try a K-Star or a a TriStar in enhanced amber, and I just haven't had the time to put that together yet. I actually have to build one of my friend Malcolm, his enhanced amber. I have to build him a replacement for his enhanced amber, and I have to do that first, and then I'll make myself a TriStar in enhanced amber. Yeah, right, Jim? Does anyone know Excel? Come on, does anyone? I don't know. Some smart people know Excel, but I'm not that smart. Meg2 Sith says I use shrink on strips too. Oh, what does this mean? Parametric. I used to live in Illustrator, then I got into that parametric lifestyle. What's parametric? A different program? Or is it like CorelDRAW or something? Yeah, what are you talking about here? The blade tube size on Custom Saber Shop? Yeah, instead of 20, it should be more like 25, but it's like 26 millimeter. It's I'd rather have it be looser than too thick, honestly, because like too thick, it gives me so much, you know, there's no other way. There's no other way to get it down, is there? I mean, maybe you guys have like a some kind of lathe or something that can do it, but just for the normal person, just for us plebs, it's like I have to use elbow grease. I have to sand the hell out of that blade at the end, and I'm sweating, and I got plastic shards everywhere, and it takes a lot of work. And some of these hilts to get it into there, it's taken me days sometimes. I'm not even kidding you. Like I had one customer, Mark, if you're in here, he knows his saber was so tight. I had to sand it by hand because I don't know any other way to do it, you guys. How else do you do it? I make a like, you know, a cup with my hand with the and I'm basically, you know, it doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look pretty what I'm doing, but I don't know how else to do it. Oh, look who's here. Gabe is here, the man, the myth, the legend. SpaceWindu. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I played your intro that you made for me, that you made for us probably 2 years ago, and never got it onto StreamYard. Finally got it off my phone, got it into StreamYard. I played our intro, so the next time we do a Saber Talk, we'll have our good intro. Jeremy Drew, I respect and love your work. Wow, thank you. It's really well done. I think your blades are a little pricey. One day I'll pick one up for my saber. Well, thank you. V2 foam is nice from TCSS. I do like that. It's a really good improvement over the other one. I do suggest that. It's very similar to Makoto foam. I had them side by side the other day trying to decide actually which one to use for a blade, and I had a hard time deciding. In the end, I did pick the Makoto, but I was like going back and forth. I like them both. They're very, very similar now. Using CAD for parametric. Huh. Okay. I guess that's more like CAD would be more like 3D. Illustrator is like 2D. It's like kind of like 2D for me. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up this stream. And I hope you guys got some out of this, at least see how much some materials cost, where to get the materials. I will post these parts and links in the description once I'm done with this video in a couple minutes, and I'll leave the video up in case anybody wants to see, you know, what it takes, like what parts it takes to kind of make this happen, make a string blade, or make a Neopixel blade for yourself, but you can do it. There's different options, and you don't have to do it my way. This is just the way I think is the best way. I was kind of there in the very beginning of Neopixel. As soon as I heard of it, as soon as I saw it come out, I switched from string blades and I dipped my toe into Neopixel, and I did both for a while, and then Neopixel kind of took hold, and it's been, you know, Neopixel ever since for the most part. So I made a lot of blades, and this is the method, the parts that work best for me, that give me the smoothest way to make the blade, the least amount of problems. You know, you want to have fun doing it. You don't want to have to do it twice. I hate doing things twice. You know, normally when I'm making the hilts, I'm always having to go back and rewire and this and that and this and that. For the blades, I found a method where it's smoother. So that's what I'm hoping to kind of pass that, you know, method along to you guys, and through some of these videos, like cutting the K-Star video, or cutting the KR strip video that I have on this channel, making a TriStar video on Civilized Sabers channel. You can find some of these parts on Civilized Sabers website, civilizedsabers.com, if you're looking for like a TriStar kit, or if you're looking for a pixel plug, or what else do we have over there? I think some of the products I'm just using for myself right now, honestly. So diffusion wrap, your thoughts? You know, this is what I do for that. I purchase it from Amazon, and I only use it if I have to. What I've found is that, now I don't know how it would work with a KR pixel stick. I haven't actually tried it with the KR pixel stick. I don't think it would work that great, honestly, because I think that the pixel stick may crease the wrap in there. Can let me know, you know, or if the wrap was on top of the foam, maybe that would probably be okay. But wrap is something I only go to when I have to. When there's a space to fill, that's a great time to use a wrap. I used it a lot early on with the TriStar, and then I started to change over to the nylon. I feel like it's either, I rarely use wrap and the nylon tube from Custom Saber Shop. It's usually either one or the other. And lately, I've been using the nylon tube in almost everything, because it must be because of what Rich was saying before about the blades being bigger. The interior diameter of the blade must also be bigger, because what I think is happening is there is a space in my blade outside the foam, meaning like when you shake the blade, it will bounce around in there. So that's why I would use diffusion wrap to take up that space. But the nylon strip from Custom Saber Shop seems to take up that space perfectly for these blade tubes that they're selling right now that seem to be a bit bigger. But you know, the nylon or the diffusion wrap can actually be a great thing to have on hand. It's I always keep it on hand, because I never know, like, if the nylon diffuser is not going to work for me, I will use diffusion wrap. I like diffusion wrap, especially because it's lighter. You know, so that's one case. If I wanted the blade to be lighter, I will use diffusion wrap instead of the nylon tube. It's going to be lighter. Jake Soft says, with the KR strips, can you even tell if you try to apply to the effects of one side of the blade only, or does the diffusion pretty much blend it so you can't tell? I'm not sure I've seen a blade style that was just lit up on one side, though. I'm not sure I could answer that because of that. I'm not sure. You know, I usually make them, I test them for a little while. You know, Gabe has one at home, but I don't think he has a way to just activate one side of it. But Mad Science Workshop says yes. I don't know if he's responding to that question. Yeah, Jeremy Drew says, Neopixel is the way to go. I really see no attraction to a hilt at this point, unless it's for heavy dueling, to an in-hilt, unless it's for heavy dueling. Yeah, yeah, I mean, for me, it's the in-out. It's like the scroll up, scroll down. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. You know, this is just like the movie when that scrolls up and scrolls down. So I've always been a string blade guy, and that's why it appealed to me. It's always been about the scrolling for me. I need it to scroll. And with the Neopixel skinny strips that I showed you from Adafruit, or that you could buy other places too, the nice thing when you build a blade from those is that the blade is light. So it feels like one of those in-hilt LED lightsabers. You could spin around, you could play with it. It doesn't feel like you're wielding something with weight to the blade. That's why I like that. That's one downside to the KR Pixel Stick is that there is weight to it. That's one thing I don't think should be present in a lightsaber blade is weight. Oh, okay. So yeah, Mad Science Workshop said I've had a side dead, the good diffusion. Yeah, you know, I've had really good diffusion in some of my blades with the gift wrap, especially. The gift wrap makes it so even. It is hard to tell sometimes. Like I'm talking about a dual star now. I haven't experienced this on a K star, but on a dual star, if one side goes out, I've had a blade that was a little harder for me to tell because of the diffusion was so good. Yeah. Jeremy Drew says, I tried to put a wrap in a blade once. Never will I do that again. Yeah, you know what? Here's a couple tips. If anyone wants to try to have an easier go of it, what I've found is the biggest pain in the ass when it comes to gift wrap is dust or like air particles. Like a piece of dust or something. Like you kind of have to do it in a vacuum, I feel like, to have no dust. Like you know, in a you know, in space or something, in a vacuum. Because if a piece of dust or a little tiny piece of something falls out of the air onto that plastic and you wrap it up, sometimes you could see that through the blade. And I'm a hawk. Like I'll look for those little dust things. And so what I try to do is I'm going to do the gift wrap. I clear off a space off my bench. I wipe it down with a towel. I go get a wet towel. I come back. I wipe it off with a lint-free towel. I wait a little while. I lay out the gift wrap. I roll it into the blade. I try to inspect. I put the blade tube on. I put it on my tester. Sometimes I could see something when it's on my tester. That's kind of the only way you're going to see a little speck of something is when the blade's lit. And it's annoying. Jeremy, I know what you're talking about. It's annoying if a little piece of dust or something gets in there. And that's probably the hardest aspect to it. There's other things that can happen, right? It could get creased, a corner folds. You know, you really need a clean area to make that happen, I think. And I'm in a shop over here. I'm in a spaceship. There's particles in the air. I know it. They fall down onto even my clean space, but try to minimize all that. And I inspect like I'm like a hawk. And I've had to take a blade apart so many times, Jeremy. So many times trying to get, and I would get like one piece of dust out. I would find it and I would get it out. And then down by the emitter, I put the blade back together. Now another piece of dust somewhere else. It's like, oh my God, dude. No. Yeah. So it could get time consuming. I've rarely had that gift wrap thing go well. It looks good at the end, but it's hard to do, I think. Let's see here. Oh, clear blades with wraps. Well, that could look, if you get it right, that could look good though. Yeah. But you know, even still, when I was talking about seeing the dust bit, it was a trans white. Some of those are, I could see something through but only when the blade is on. So then I have to like take it apart, find that little speck. It's pretty annoying. I hate that. That is annoying. But you have to be conscious of that dust stuff getting in, or you have to make sure your surface is clean. That's like something nobody ever talks about, I guess, but it's so important. Like for instance, when I'm soldering the blade and I get the soldering bit down, I bet you Megtooth knows what I'm talking about here. Any installers here, they know what I'm talking about. You're done soldering the blade and the PCB. you oftentimes have to like wipe off your desktop there because, you know, you might get a little speck. There's a solder bit laying around or something's there, and you don't want to wrap that up or get the foam to get something embedded into the foam. You know, it'll be a disaster. It'll be a nightmare, as they say. Yeah, that's the cool thing about the in-hilt LEDs. It gives you options as far as blades, like you know, you could choose different blades to go in it. Like, let's say you have a blue LED, you could pick a clear blade, or you could pick a photonic blade and get those effects, and not have to worry about having your components in the blade. No, well, Jake, I don't let the dust bit stay in there. I'm always take out the dust bit. And I think like sometimes when like the way my camera compensates, like especially on my bench tests and stuff, the way the camera compensates, making the blade look a lot dimmer than it really is because it's like adjusting. You probably would be able to see if there was something, because a lot of times, you know, on those bench test videos, there's like that compensation. You might be able to even spot something like that. But I could see when the blade is on it. Just like I can't go for that. I spend hours sometimes removing a speck, you know, like I said, only to find another speck and then taking it out. And then I've had to actually like discard the whole clear gift wrap because it's like I took it apart too many times and creased it, and it's just garbage at that point. So I get a whole fresh bit, or I think that a whole fresh bit might solve my dust, you know, issue or something. So I'm like, all right, let me just get a, you know, and I keep it really nice. I keep it like in its own plastic bag, so it's not like collecting dust while I'm not using it. So those are like, I try to do little tricks like that. Yeah, full environmental suit. If I got one of them like COVID suits, that might help. I'm sure your blades are great. I'm sure your blades are great. And the good thing about Neopixel blades is that they do so much with just one blade. Like, you know, if you're building them for yourself, like how many do you really need? You know, maybe you need a 7/8 and then maybe you need a 1-inch. But it's not like you need a bunch of different blades. JB Kuma even set something up where he had a system where he was trying to develop something where he could slide his system in and out of enhanced blade tubes. Very cool idea. We had like RGB inner blade that slid into outer blades. I think we showed it in one of our videos. Hey, what's going on, Jared? What's going on? Nerd up. Nerd up. If anyone wants to think about becoming a channel member, there are nerd up emojis you'll be able to use in the chat. I used to glue a small disc of cellophane at the end of the blade for in-hilt. A small disc of cellophane at the end of the blade for in-hilt. Yeah, you know those little like color discs that the Custom Saber Shop has? I always love those. I always bought those for my in-hilt LEDs. I like to try different, you know, shades of color back in the day, and I would even drill holes into those discs, those color discs, to try to get a mixture. So like, let's say I had like a green LED and I was putting it through like a little blue tinted thing, and it would like some of the green light would come through also for like try to get like a cyan, you know? Yeah, this is what happens to me, Jeremy. Destroying the wrap, trying to clean it and putting in my blade so many times that like it hurts. It hurts. Yeah, Neopixel blades are sexy. They're the best kind of blades, I think. Very versatile. Oh, look at this. Mountain Sabers made a 1-foot blade. I call that a lamp saver because that saves your lamps inside. 2-foot and 32-inch blades. There you go. I got the same thing. I got like a 1-inch or a 1-foot blade. I have like, yeah, I've got like a 2-foot tester. Sometimes when I'm doing the videos, like for you guys, like if I'm sitting in front of my computer, I don't want to use like a long blade because I'll end up hitting my microphone or hitting the computer while I'm like, you know, playing in front of the camera here. So sometimes I'll use those short blades for photos, on my Saber too. And you know what's cool about Neopixel and it was true for string blades as well, was that they get brighter, like the shorter it is, the brighter it is. You know, like all the power is like focused. So if you actually make like a 29-inch blade and you're used to making a 36-inch blade, you might find that is actually brighter when you put it into your same saber, because that's kind of how it works. All right, guys. Well, I think I answered what you were. If anyone had anything, they hopefully got it answered. Anybody has any questions, definitely leave them in the comments when the video is through. I'll try to get to them. And anyone sees this video after now and can't comment live, definitely comment, and I will try to answer any questions you have about this. But I hope this video helped you, and I will talk to you guys next time. Hopefully we'll have a saber talk. Either it'll be with Jason will come on, or we'll have Harris and Gabe coming on. We'll see who's available and when. And check out CivilizedSabers.com for some cool Neopixel stuff, for some TriStar kits, pixel plugs, some blades, TriStars, different things like that. You guys can go check out what we've got over there. Subscribe to Civilized Sabers on YouTube. Subscribe over here too, if you're not already subscribed to SpaceWindu channel. Let's see here. Oh, thanks a lot, Mountain Sabers. Yeah, less amp draw, and it's brighter, which is what I like. That's a great reason to why I like to use the skinny strips. It's a less of an amp draw on your lightsaber, and you'll get better runtime with that. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for checking out this video. Hit the like button if you've not done so already, and I will talk to you next time. I have something here for you.